Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. Today I'm taking you back to the end of May as we enjoy the sunshine, we finally plant our garden after all the preparations, and we make some delicious meals. We started this day with Rob making these delicious shrimp tostadas. They use red lentils instead of refried beans and have a corn tortilla base. The recipe you can find over on the blog, and I have the link down below. It was such a nice day today, we wanted to take advantage and head to the water. There is a beach near us I mentioned before on my channel that essentially is walking on the ocean floor as the tide is out. I grew up surrounded by the salt sea air, and there's something about it that will ground me. If I'm not feeling quite myself, sometimes all I need is a trip to the ocean. I know I feel more myself when I'm near water, whether it be ocean, lake, or river. We closed off our day with some ice cream from the farmer's market. Usually you can see the fish in this pond, but we didn't notice any on this day. It is a cooler Saturday morning, but we are headed out to get some things for our garden. It is the last weekend before the end of our frost date here, which is on the 27th, I believe, of May. So we are going to get a few things to help get the garden ready, and I'm going to look around, and then later today we're heading off to Halifax, so I'll take you along for that, so come join me. We were looking for a hand tiller. Originally we had hoped to rent out one or hire someone to till the soil for us, but we were unable to do that this year, so we went looking for a hand tiller. The soil in our garden is a lot of clay and we need to loosen it up, so we picked up some peat to till in. It helped, but next year we know that we'll need to add a few more bales of peat. I also wanted to check out all the flowers. I like making the outside of my home look as pretty as I can. Last year was so wet, I struggled to keep my flowers looking pretty, and I'm hoping this year they will fare out much better. So we made the trip into Halifax for the afternoon. Noah wanted to look for some new music, and Rob needed some things for a shoot. We stopped at this 50s diner for some lunch. It has become one of our go-to spots. Good food at reasonable prices, and I love the vintage 1950s vibe of the place. I think bookstores are always a must for us before we leave the city. I love the detail on the covers of these older classics, and I'm always looking at the cooking and canning section. From one busy day into another, I prepped some potatoes for brunch this morning, then ran quickly to the grocery store for some essentials and picked up my flowers, and then headed back home for brunch, where we had roast potatoes, turkey sausage, and some leftover bacon. This year, I really wanted to have my flowers grow better than they did the last year. I think some of my problem was I thought each plant would spread out more than they did in the pots, so I didn't quite have enough flowers to fill the pot. I also worry that I might have over-fertilized it, or perhaps used the wrong kind. They really struggled last year, and all the rain we had certainly didn't help either. I made a note to plant more flowers per pot, and I also added fillers as well. I'm also changing up my fertilizer this year and using a kind that I mix right into the soil. I'm using it both in my garden and here in my flowers, and I'm hoping my flowers turn out much nicer. If you're watching this video at the end of June, this is a really good time to buy flowers if you haven't already. Nurseries and greenhouses usually have the majority of their stock on sale, and you can potentially have some beautiful flowers in your garden for a fraction of the price. This is too funny. Is this not cucumber? I was pulling up a plant pot that was sitting on top there all winter and noticed this was underneath, and this totally looks like cucumber. But we did not grow cucumber in this last year. The cucumber was like in a pot over here last year, and I only planted it in there. So I have No idea, but it looks like we're actually growing cucumber. Doesn't this look like a cucumber to you? It has the little things. I know right now it looks like there's a lot of bare space, but I planted more flowers in these pots than last year, and they should hopefully grow and fill out the baskets and pots in the weeks to come. I had some bananas that were crying for me to make into banana bread, so before I went to bed this evening, I made a loaf, leopard pajamas, and all. Sometimes I find I have more energy to bake at night than I do during the day. Anyone else like that? Let me know in the comments if I'm not the only one. I think it's maybe because my sleep isn't always great, and so my energy bursts don't always come until later in the day. I also have days where I'm full of energy and can tackle a whole bunch of things and be super productive. And other days I'm the complete opposite, and one or two things may be all I can achieve. And that's okay. When you have chronic illness, you have good and bad days and need to adjust accordingly. If you also suffer, please be kind to yourself. Take the slower days and don't feel bad for not being able to do all the things. Sometimes getting through the day is a pretty big thing to do. I have to give credit to Rob for all of the hard work he put in digging this garden up completely from scratch. It was no small feat, and tilling it by hand wasn't originally in our plan, but we learned to adjust, and in order to be able to get a garden in before it was too late, we needed to till it by hand. It really makes you appreciate all the hard work people from years gone by did in order to provide for their families, before all the modern conveniences we have today. I am thankful that this hand tiller is so easy to use that it really made quick work of the garden. I can link it below in case it's something that you may be interested in. This video is not sponsored, and they have no idea I'm talking about this hand tiller, but I really believe it works really well. Rob needs to dig up this middle part again and add the peat to the rest of this garden, so I'm just tilling out these edge areas that have been done already. For supper tonight, I'm making a chicken shawarma. Many times I use the pre-made marinade for the chicken, but this afternoon I didn't have any on hand and I didn't want to go to the store again, so I looked up the spices and made my own marinade with avocado oil, lemon juice, garlic, honey, cumin, smoked paprika, cinnamon, ginger, oregano, turmeric, cayenne pepper, and some salt and pepper. I mixed it all up and poured it over the chicken and left it to marinate for a few hours in the refrigerator. It is a delicious recipe and super simple to make that I will probably make it from scratch from now on. My family actually said they preferred it over the jarred kind that I usually use. As the chicken marinates, Rob is out digging the garden and I'm planning the layout. We hope to dig up the entire overgrown area, but it turned out to be too big of a job and too much work to do this year by hand, especially factoring in work schedules. I've started making the rows for the garden. Even with having a smaller garden than we thought, I'm still very grateful for the size that we're able to do this year. We'll have a variety of vegetables able to grow, and I still have the pots I used for my little container garden last year. We are just about to have supper, and I cooked the chicken covered in foil for about 20 minutes and then removed the foil and cooked it for another 5 minutes or so, just to get some of the juice evaporated off. We eat our chicken shawarma with chopped tomatoes, lettuce, Rob likes to add some pickled turnip, and with tzatziki and hummus. Tonight we're eating it with traditional pita, but most of the time we eat it on naan bread, which I soften in the oven by sprinkling a little water on top before it goes in. It only needs to be in for a minute or so. Before I finish off the evening, I want to water all the flowers I planted today. We only got the potatoes in the garden, and I have some transplants I bought that I'll plant in the morning after Rob makes all the rest of the rows. I'm looking forward to seeing how our garden comes along this year. If you want to check out some more homemaking content, you can check out these videos here. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and be well, and until next time, bye!